A woman who knows her worth embodies confidence in setting boundaries. It's not an act of defiance, but rather an act of self-preservation, an affirmation of her value. She understands that boundaries are not walls but bridges, structures that enable her to connect with others in ways that are healthy and fulfilling. She knows that saying no is not a rejection of others, but a powerful affirmation of herself. By setting these limits, she creates an environment where she can thrive and those around her can respect her authenticity. In her life, she encounters situations where people test her limits, either intentionally or unknowingly. It could be a friend who expects too much, a partner who takes her for granted, or a workplace that undervalues her contributions. Instead of succumbing to the discomfort of confrontation, she chooses to address these issues with clarity and conviction. She communicates her needs in a way that is firm yet compassionate, recognizing that her worth is not negotiable. She understands that if she doesn't define what is acceptable, others will impose their definitions on her, often at the expense of her peace of mind. A woman who knows her worth does not feel guilty for prioritizing herself. Society often places an undue burden on women to be endlessly accommodating, self-sacrificing, and agreeable. But she understands that perpetual selflessness leads to burnout and resentment. She knows that by protecting her own energy, she can show up as her best self for the people and responsibilities she truly cares about. Her boundaries are not selfish, they are a reflection of her self-respect and her desire to maintain healthy relationships built on mutual understanding and respect. Setting boundaries also means recognizing and rejecting relationships that are harmful or one-sided. She has the courage to walk away from those who do not honor her boundaries, even when it's painful. Whether it's ending a toxic friendship or distancing herself from a family member who doesn't respect her autonomy, she does so knowing that her well-being comes first. It's not an easy choice, but it's a necessary one. She understands that holding on to people who disregard her boundaries only diminishes her self-worth and prevents her from cultivating relationships that uplift and empower her. Her confidence in setting boundaries extends to every aspect of her life. In her career, she advocates for fair treatment, equal pay, and opportunities that align with her goals. She doesn't accept being overworked or undervalued because she knows her contributions are significant. In her personal life, she creates a safe space for herself, free from unnecessary drama or negativity. She surrounds herself with people who respect her boundaries, and in doing so, she inspires others to set their own. A woman who knows her worth also understands that boundaries are dynamic. As she grows and evolves, her limits may change, and she's not afraid to reevaluate and adjust them as needed. She is attuned to her feelings, recognizing when something no longer serves her or when a new situation requires a different approach. This adaptability is a testament to her self-awareness and her commitment to honoring her worth in all circumstances. This practice of setting boundaries enriches her relationships. Those who genuinely care about her understand and appreciate her limits, recognizing them as an expression of her authenticity. It creates a foundation of trust and mutual respect, allowing deeper, more meaningful connections to flourish. She knows that those who resist or violate her boundaries are not meant to occupy space in her life, and she lets them go without regret, secure in the knowledge that she deserves better. Her boundaries also serve as an example to others. By demonstrating how to assert her needs and maintain her self-respect, she encourages those around her to do the same. Her actions speak volumes, showing that knowing your worth is not just a concept, but a practice, a daily commitment to yourself. Her confidence radiates, inspiring others to embrace their own value and create lives that reflect their self-worth. In embracing the power of boundaries, a woman who knows her worth creates a life of balance, respect, and fulfillment. She protects her peace, nurtures her growth, and uplifts those who truly value her presence. In doing so, she becomes a beacon of strength and inspiration, a living testament to the transformative power of knowing your worth. A woman who knows her worth radiates confidence and self-respect, and this deeply influences how she carries herself in all areas of life. She is acutely aware of her unique qualities, strengths, and values, which become the foundation of her identity. This self-awareness empowers her to move through life with clarity and purpose, unshaken by external opinions or societal expectations. Her confidence is not loud or boastful, but quietly powerful. It stems from a deep, unshakable belief in her own capabilities and her intrinsic value. This confidence manifests in her decision-making. When faced with choices, she doesn't seek validation from others because she trusts her instincts and her ability to make decisions that align with her values. Whether it's pursuing a career opportunity, ending a toxic relationship, or embarking on a new adventure, she approaches each decision with courage and conviction. She understands that life is full of uncertainties, but her confidence allows her to embrace the unknown with grace, knowing that she is equipped to handle whatever comes her way. Her self-respect influences how she interacts with others. She does not tolerate disrespect or mistreatment because she knows she deserves better. She communicates assertively, expressing her thoughts and feelings with clarity and poise. She doesn't allow others to undermine her or take advantage of her kindness. Instead, she establishes relationships rooted in mutual respect and understanding. This doesn't mean she is rigid or unyielding. On the contrary, she is compassionate and empathetic, but always ensures her self-respect remains intact. Her confidence also shows in how she handles criticism. A woman who knows her worth welcomes constructive feedback because she sees it as an opportunity for growth rather than a personal attack. She has the emotional maturity to distinguish between criticism that is meant to help her and negativity aimed at bringing her down. The latter does not affect her because she recognizes it as a reflection of the critic, not her own value. This resilience enables her to rise above pettiness and focus on her personal and professional growth. In her relationships, her self-respect sets the tone for how others treat her. She knows that she cannot control others' actions, but can control what she accepts. This knowledge allows her to maintain high standards in her friendships, romantic relationships, and family dynamics. She does not settle for less than she deserves because she understands that compromise should never come at the expense of her dignity. She seeks connections with people who uplift and support her, recognizing that healthy relationships are built on a foundation of mutual admiration and respect. A woman who knows her worth also embraces her imperfections. She doesn't strive for an unattainable ideal of perfection, but instead accepts herself fully, flaws and all. This self-acceptance frees her from the pressure to conform to societal standards or compare herself to others. She realizes that her worth is not contingent on her appearance, achievements, or social status. It is inherent. This perspective allows her to approach life with authenticity, unafraid to show her true self to the world. Her confidence is not only a personal asset, but also an inspiration to others. People are drawn to her energy and admire her ability to navigate life with grace and determination. She becomes a role model for those around her, showing them that self-worth is not something given by others, but something cultivated from within. Her actions encourage others to recognize their own value and embrace their unique journey. This sense of worth extends to her professional life as well. She is not afraid to advocate for herself, whether it's negotiating a salary, pursuing leadership roles, or taking on challenges that others might shy away from. She knows her contributions are valuable and ensures she is treated accordingly. Her confidence in the workplace sets her apart and earns her the respect of colleagues and superiors alike. Ultimately, a woman who knows her worth doesn't seek validation from the outside world because she finds it within herself. Her confidence and self-respect guide her through life's challenges, empowering her to create a fulfilling and meaningful existence. She understands that her worth is non-negotiable. And by living this truth, she becomes a powerful force for positive change in her own life and the lives of those around her. A woman who knows her worth holds an unwavering standard for the relationships in her life, prioritizing quality and authenticity over superficial connections. She understands that relationships are not merely about having people around, but about nurturing bonds that add value, respect, and mutual growth to her life. This clarity guides her in choosing the people she allows into her inner circle, ensuring that her relationships are healthy, balanced, and aligned with her values. She enters relationships, whether romantic, platonic, or professional, with a clear understanding of her boundaries. These boundaries are not walls meant to isolate her, but are healthy guidelines that define how she expects to be treated and how she will treat others in return. They are rooted in her self-respect and her recognition of her own value. She communicates these boundaries openly and respectfully, knowing that setting them is not an act of selfishness, but a form of self-care and mutual respect. This practice allows her to build trust and establish meaningful connections that are based on mutual understanding. In romantic relationships, a woman who knows her worth seeks a partner who complements her rather than completes her. She does not view love as a way to fill a void, but as a partnership where both individuals bring their whole selves to the table. She values mutual respect, honesty, and emotional intimacy, and does not settle for anything less. If a relationship becomes unhealthy or disrespectful, she has the courage to walk away, knowing that her worth is not diminished by someone else's inability to appreciate it. This self-assuredness allows her to avoid toxic patterns and choose love that uplifts and empowers her. Her friendships are equally intentional. She surrounds herself with people who celebrate her successes, support her in difficult times, and challenge her to grow. She is a loyal and supportive friend, but she also expects reciprocity in her relationships. She does not tolerate one-sided dynamics where her kindness and energy are taken for granted. Instead, she invests in friendships that are built on trust, shared values, and mutual respect. This approach ensures that her friendships are sources of joy, inspiration, and strength. In her family relationships, a woman who knows her worth approaches dynamics with a sense of balance. She values her family bonds, but does not allow familial obligations to compromise her self-respect. She understands that even family relationships require boundaries and mutual respect. If certain family dynamics become toxic or harmful, she navigates them with firmness and grace, prioritizing her well-being while still honoring her values. She believes in nurturing healthy family relationships, but is not afraid to distance herself from patterns or behaviors that do not align with her sense of worth. Her professional relationships are guided by the same principles. In the workplace, she recognizes her contributions and does not hesitate to assert herself when necessary. She demands respect from colleagues and superiors alike, knowing that her skills and efforts deserve acknowledgement. She fosters professional connections that are collaborative and mutually beneficial, avoiding environments where her talents are undervalued or exploited. This approach allows her to build a career that is both fulfilling and aligned with her self-worth. Furthermore, a woman who knows her worth does not shy away from difficult conversations in her relationships. She understands that addressing conflicts or misunderstandings head-on is essential for maintaining trust and harmony. She approaches these conversations with emotional intelligence, listening actively and expressing herself honestly. This ability to navigate challenges strengthens her relationships and ensures they are resilient and enduring. Her understanding of her worth also allows her to be selective about her time and energy. She does not feel obligated to maintain relationships out of guilt or social pressure. Instead, she invests in connections that align with her values and bring positivity into her life. This discernment helps her cultivate a supportive and empowering network of people who appreciate her for who she truly is. By holding her relationships to high standards, she not only ensures her own happiness and fulfillment, but also sets an example for those around her. Her ability to prioritize quality over quantity in her connections inspires others to do the same, creating a ripple effect of healthier, more authentic relationships. This intentionality in her relationships reflects her deep understanding of her worth and her unwavering commitment to living a life aligned with that truth. A woman who knows her worth embraces her individuality and stands firmly in her authenticity, refusing to conform to societal expectations or the pressures of others. She understands that her uniqueness is her strength, and she carries herself with the confidence of someone who is unapologetically true to herself. This confidence is not rooted in arrogance, but in a deep awareness of who she is, her values, and her personal journey. She realizes that her worth is not dictated by external validation, but by the self-assuredness she carries within. She knows that society often tries to impose rigid standards of beauty, behavior, and success on women, and she actively chooses to rise above these limitations. Instead of trying to fit into molds that others have created, she defines her own path. She chooses what feels authentic and empowering to her, knowing that conformity often comes at the expense of individuality. This self-awareness allows her to make choices that align with her values and aspirations rather than seeking approval or avoiding judgment. Her individuality shines in the way she expresses herself, whether through her style, her opinions, or her actions. She does not fear being different or standing out because she knows that her uniqueness is what sets her apart in a world that often rewards sameness. She understands that being herself is not only a gift to herself, but also an inspiration to others. By embracing her authentic self, she gives others permission to do the same, creating a ripple effect of empowerment. And a woman who knows her worth understands the profound power of boundaries, and she wields this power to protect her energy, peace, and values. Boundaries are not walls to keep people out, but rather gates that allow her to choose what and who she allows into her life. She recognizes that her emotional well-being is a priority and that not everyone deserves a seat at her table. This discernment is not an act of selfishness, but an act of self-preservation and respect. She has learned, sometimes through painful experiences, that saying yes to everyone and everything often comes at the cost of her own needs. She realizes that overextending herself to please others leads to burnout and resentment, eroding her sense of self. So she practices the art of saying no with grace and conviction, understanding that her time and energy are finite resources. This doesn't mean she is unkind or indifferent. On the contrary, she knows that by setting limits, she can show up more fully for the people and pursuits that truly matter to her. Her boundaries extend to her relationships, whether personal or professional. She recognizes toxic dynamics and is unafraid to distance herself from individuals who drain her energy or disrespect her worth. She does not tolerate being treated as an option when she knows she is a priority. In romantic relationships, she does not settle for less than she deserves, holding her partner to the same standard of respect and commitment that she brings to the table. She understands that love is not about losing herself in another, but about growing together while maintaining her individuality. In her professional life, a woman who knows her worth advocates for herself unapologetically. She is not afraid to ask for what she deserves, whether it is fair compensation, recognition, or opportunities for growth. She understands that her skills and contributions have value, and she refuses to be undervalued or taken for granted. This self-assuredness allows her to navigate her career with confidence, even in environments that may try to undermine her. She becomes a force to be reckoned with, not by overpowering others, but by commanding respect through her actions and self-respect. Her boundaries are also evident in how she manages her time and energy. She chooses to invest in activities and relationships that nurture her growth and happiness. She prioritizes self-care, knowing that rest, reflection, and rejuvenation are essential for her to thrive. She does not succumb to the pressure of constant productivity or the guilt of taking time for herself. Instead, she recognizes that honoring her limits is a strength, not a weakness. A woman who knows her worth understands that boundaries are not just about saying no, but also about saying yes to the right things. She embraces opportunities that align with her goals and values, allowing her to grow and expand without feeling overwhelmed. She surrounds herself with people who uplift her and environments that foster her authenticity. She has the courage to walk away from situations that no longer serve her, even if it is uncomfortable or challenging. This wisdom does not come overnight, but through self-reflection and a willingness to prioritize her well-being. She knows that setting boundaries may disappoint some people, but she also knows that those who truly value her will respect her choices. She sees her boundaries as a declaration of her self-worth, a testament to the love and respect she has for herself. By embodying this understanding of boundaries, she becomes a role model for others, showing that it is possible to be kind, compassionate, and giving while still standing firm in one's principles. Her boundaries are not a sign of weakness, but of profound strength and self-awareness. They allow her to navigate life with clarity, confidence, and peace, ensuring that she remains true to herself in every aspect of her life. A woman who knows her worth is unapologetically authentic. She has shed the layers of societal expectations and external pressures to conform, standing firm in her individuality. She knows that authenticity is her superpower, the unique essence that sets her apart and makes her remarkable. This self-awareness doesn't arise overnight. It is cultivated through self-reflection, growth, and embracing her journey, including the challenges and setbacks that have shaped her. She understands that her imperfections are not flaws, but aspects of her humanity that make her real and relatable. Living authentically means she doesn't feel the need to seek validation from others to feel worthy. She has cultivated a deep sense of self-acceptance that allows her to stand confidently in her truth, even when it's not understood or approved by everyone around her. She refuses to wear masks to fit into spaces where she is not fully seen or appreciated. Instead, she creates or seeks out environments where her voice, values, and presence are honored. This courage to be authentic is not about defiance, but about living in alignment with her true self, which brings her a profound sense of freedom and peace. Her authenticity is reflected in her actions and decisions. She doesn't just talk about her values, she embodies them in her daily life. Whether in her relationships, career, or personal pursuits, she acts with integrity, staying true to what matters most to her. She doesn't compromise her principles to gain approval or avoid conflict. Instead, she navigates her world with a sense of purpose and clarity, knowing that her worth is not defined by external achievements or opinions, but by her unwavering commitment to being herself. This authenticity gives her the strength to embrace vulnerability. She understands that showing her true self, even when it means revealing her fears or uncertainties, is not a weakness but a profound act of courage. She is not afraid to admit when she doesn't have all the answers or when she needs support. By doing so, she creates space for genuine connections with others, fostering relationships built on trust and mutual respect. Her willingness to be open and real inspires others to do the same, creating a ripple effect of authenticity in her interactions. In the face of challenges, her authenticity becomes her anchor. She doesn't shy away from difficult situations or pretend to be someone she's not to please others. Instead, she confronts obstacles with honesty and resilience, staying true to herself even when the path forward is uncertain. This approach allows her to make decisions that are not only practical but also deeply aligned with her values and aspirations. She trusts her intuition, knowing that it is a powerful guide rooted in her authentic self. Her authenticity extends to how she celebrates her successes and navigates her failures. She doesn't feel the need to downplay her achievements to appear humble or inflate her struggles for sympathy. She embraces her wins with gratitude and her losses with grace, understanding that both are integral parts of her journey. This balanced perspective allows her to remain grounded, focused, and true to herself, no matter what life throws her way. By living authentically, she also inspires others to embrace their own uniqueness. Her confidence in being herself gives those around her permission to do the same. She becomes a source of empowerment, reminding others that they, too, have the right to live unapologetically as their true selves. Her authenticity shines as a beacon of self-acceptance, self-love, and self-worth. This authenticity is not about being perfect, but about being real. She knows that her value lies not in meeting external expectations, but in honoring who she is at her core. In doing so, she not only lives a life that feels fulfilling and meaningful to her, but also leaves a lasting impact on those who witness her unapologetic embrace of her authentic self.